So, hi students, this is the supporting video class. So for today's morning class, so right guys, today in today's morning class we have discussed regarding types of pure substance. So first you know guys, pure substance or pure matter means a matter with the same kind of particles. A matter with the same kind of particles is known as a pure matter. Pure matter again classified into two types, elements and the next one compounds. Which pure matter is known as an element? A pure matter with the same kind of atoms are homoatomic molecules. Homoatomic molecules is known as element. Element is a pure substance and this one contains either same kind of atoms or same kind of homoatomic molecules. Example guys, you see this is a substance and in this substance you have only carbon atoms. Then you can say that which is a carbon element. Next one, here let me take one more substance. In this substance you have homoatomic molecules. Only O2 molecules are present. You know guys, O2 is a homoatomic molecule. In this substance you have same type of O2 molecules. They are homoatomic molecules. So now you can say that this is also an element, which is oxygen element. This is an element with the same type of atoms. This is an element with the same type of homoatomic molecules. Alright? And elements are classified into three types: metallic elements, non-metallic elements, and metalloids. Which elements are known as metals and which elements are known as non-metals and metalloids? The elements which exhibit these properties are known as metals. The elements which exhibit the properties lustrous, malleability, sonority, ductility, and electrical conductivity, heat conductivity are known as metals. Right? So lustrous means the shining of a material when light incident on its surface. So right guys, the elements like iron, and the next one I will write here. Elements like iron, copper, silver, and the next one gold. These all are the elements, and these elements when light incident on their surface, they can reflect that light, means they will shine. That property is known as lustrous. When light incident on the surface of these elements, so they will shine. That property is known as lustrous. And next one, malleable. Malleable means guys, making a thin sheets by using a particular element. The elements which are malleable, by using which elements we can make the thin sheets, they are known as metals. And sonors or sonority. Sonority means so giving more amount of sound. So a particular element which can give more amount of sound when by hitting on its surface by using a hammer is known as sonority. So the elements which exhibit this property, they are known as metals. And when you hit on these metals guys, they can give more and more sound. That sound can travel more distance. And next one, ductility. Ductility means making wires by using the elements. So by using which elements we can make the wires, they are known as metals. And conductors, conductivity, electrical conductivity and heat conductivity. Elements which acts as a heat conductors and the next one electricity conductor are known as metals. So right guys, elements which exhibit these properties, they are known as metals. Example: iron, copper, silver, gold, and a number of examples are there. These are some examples. Right? The elements which exhibit these properties, they are known as metals. And the next one, non-metals. Non-metals means they won't exhibit these properties. These properties are not shown by non-metals, or the elements which do not exhibit these properties are known as non-metals. Non-metals are non-lustrous, non-malleable, non-sonorous, non-ductile, and they are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Examples for the non-metals, guys, you can take carbon, you can take sulfur, oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and etc. These all are examples for the non-metals because they won't exhibit these properties. Of course, guys, some exceptions are there. There is one. I will give you an example. So now you see, guys, carbon has different forms. Carbon exists as graphite and it exists as diamond. So now carbon in the form of diamond, which is a lustrous, means that one can shine. So actually the lustrous property is shown by metals. But here diamond, which is made up of carbon, that is a non-metal, even though this one can exhibit this property, lustrous property. Okay, so like that some exceptions are present. These are examples for the non-metals. And metalloids means the elements with 50% metallic properties, 50% non-metallic properties are known as metalloids. Examples, guys, boron element. This one has 50% metallic character, 50% non-metallic character. Similarly, silicon, germanium, arsenic, and you can take tellurium, etc. These are some examples of the metalloids. Right, guys? This is about the element and classification of the elements. And the next one, guys, another type of pure substance, that is compound. So compound is also a pure substance like element. Then which type of pure substance is known as compound? Okay. So now the pure substance with the same kind of heteroatomic molecules. Heteroatomic molecules. A pure substance with the same kind of heteroatomic molecules is known as compound. Example, guys. So now let me take a substance. In this substance you have only H2O molecules. So now you see all molecules are same. So these are what type of molecules? These are heteroatomic molecules. So in this given substance, guys, you have same type of heteroatomic molecules. So you can say that this is a compound. And next, in another substance, guys, you have another same type of heteroatomic molecules. Heteroatomic molecules. Now here you have same type of heteroatomic molecules. So this is another compound, right? So in a given pure substance, if you have same kind of heteroatomic molecules, they are known as compounds. So right, guys, these compounds are two types. Inorganic compounds and the next one organic compounds. Compounds without carbon and hydrogen bonds is known as inorganic compound. A compound without carbon and hydrogen bonds is known as inorganic compound. Examples, guys, you can take H2SO4. Here there is no carbon, hydrogen. There are no carbons and hydrogens. And next you can take HCl and you can take HNO3. You can take Na2CO3 and etc. guys. These all are examples for the inorganic compounds because of absence of the carbon and hydrogens. So now organic compounds means the compounds with carbon and hydrogen Example, you can take CH4, C2H6, C3H8 and C6H6. Right guys, next one C2H5OH and CH3COOH and etc. These all are examples for the organic compounds. So this is about a pure matter or a pure substance. So next let us see impure substance and its classification. So right guys, next one, impure matter and its classification. So impure matter means a matter with different types of or a substance with different types of particles is known as impure substance. So impure substance means, so that is also known as a mixture guys, and it contains different types of the particles. Example you can take guys, example drinking water. So drinking water is example for the mixture. And next you can take the milk. Milk is also example for the mixture. Right guys? And next you can take, here I have given number of examples. These all are here and here. I have given number of examples. These all are examples for the mixture or impure substance. Because in the given substances guys, the given examples, different types of particles are there. That's why these all are examples for the commonly these all are examples for the impure substances or mixtures. So right, these mixtures are two types guys, homogeneous mixture and the next one heterogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. So which mixture is known as homogeneous mixture and which mixture is known as heterogeneous mixture? A impure substance or a mixture with uniform distribution of different components, different particles. In a given mixture, if all the different particles are distributed uniformly, then it is known as homogeneous mixture. In a given mixture, if all the different components are distributed uniformly, then that is known as a homogeneous mixture. Examples: salt water, sugar water, alloys. Two examples are given for the alloys here: bronze and brass, and air. And next one, alcohol plus water. These all are examples for the homogeneous mixture. So right, for example, if you take this one, a mixture of salt plus water. So when you observe the salt molecules and water molecules guys, there will be a uniform distribution between the salt particles and the next one water particles as shown in the figure like this. So this is the uniform distribution. A uniform distribution of the water and the next one salt particles. So you can consider this circle as H2O molecule and this dot as NaCl molecules. So now these two molecules are distributed uniformly like this in the mixture of salt water. Okay guys? And similarly, in the remaining substances also there will be a uniform distribution like this. Due to this kind of uniform distribution guys, we are unable to identify the salt present in the water or sugar present in the water or the zinc present in the copper. So this is a bronze. Bronze is example for the homogeneous mixture. In case of bronze guys, so here copper and zinc both are uniformly distributed. Copper, zinc. So like this guys, so here these two are distributed uniformly. That's why in the bronze you are able to identify the copper and zinc separately. So example for the homogeneous mixture and brass also. So here also copper and tin are uniformly distributed like this. And in air guys, we have different components: oxygen, nitrogen, and next one carbon dioxide. So they are uniformly distributed. So that's why you are able to identify. And the air is not visible to our naked eye. And alcohol plus water also example for the homogeneous mixture. Next one, heterogeneous mixture. Which type of mixtures are known as heterogeneous mixture? In a given mixture, guys, if different components are non-uniformly distributed, in a given mixture, if the different components are non-uniformly distributed, then it is known as a heterogeneous mixture. Examples: oil, water, and sand plus water, milk. Milk is also a heterogeneous mixture, guys. You can get a clear idea about this milk. And next one, this mud water. In another chapter, how they are being heterogeneous mixtures. Generally, the different components present in the milk, we can't see them. Okay, we can't see them, even though this milk is example for the heterogeneous mixture only. So then you can know about that in the chapter solution, in the solution chapter. Next one, mud water is also example for the heterogeneous mixture, and chalk powder plus salt and chalk powder plus water. Here, guys, these components, different components are here non-uniformly distributed, and sometimes we are able to identify the different components in the given heterogeneous mixture. So if you take the mixture of oil plus water, guys, so now here always water occupies the bottom of the container, and over the water oil floats. Over the water oil floats like this. This is oil and this is water here. So there is no distribution between these two, oil and water. And when we place the sand in water, sand occupies the bottom of the container. Clearly both are visible to our naked eye. Okay. So this is about the classification of impure substance as homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. And this homogeneous mixture classified into three types, guys: solid liquid homogeneous mixture, and liquid gas homogeneous mixture, solid gas homogeneous mixture. So now I am going to explain. I am not going to explain about them, because so then you can get about them in solution chapter. Similarly, here also, guys, just you know that heterogeneous mixtures are two types: colloids and next one suspensions. So you can get a clear idea about the classification of heterogeneous mixture, homogeneous mixture in the solutions chapter. So now no need of any discussion regarding them. This is about the classification of impure substances. Yeah. So next one, guys, the next concept, radicals. Radicals are known as ions. So ions means, guys, the particles may be atoms or molecules. The atoms or molecules, if they carry any charge, maybe positive charge or negative charge, then they are known as ions. Or simply you can write, guys, ions are radicals are charged particles. They are charged particles. Example, you can take Na plus, Cl minus, Br minus, and CO3 minus 2 and Ca plus 2. Example, guys. So you see these all are examples of the radicals or ions, because they all are with some particular charge. This one carrying positive charge and this one carrying negative charge. So these all are carrying some amount of charge. That's why they are known as ions. These ions are classified into two types. Based on the nature of the charge, these ions are classified into two types: cations and next one, anions. Cations means ions with the positive charge. Ions with positive charge. Ions with positive charge are known as cations. Anions means ions with the negative charge. Ions with the negative charge are known as anions. So now again these cations and anions are furtherly classified into monovalent cations and the next one bivalent cations, trivalent cations and tetravalent cations. And anions also classified into monovalent anions, bivalent anions and trivalent anions. So now let us see here which cations are known as monovalent cations. Cations cation which carries unit positive charge. So cations which carries unit positive charge are known as monovalent cations. Unit positive charge means guys only one plus. Only one plus. Example guys, these all are examples for the monovalent cations because you see they all are with only unit positive charge. They have only single plus. That's why these all are known as monovalent. Mono means single. And name of this one guys, ammonium. Ammonium. In morning class I have given naming also. So which is known as ammonium. And this one is hydrogen ion, sodium ion, potassium ion, rubidium ion, cesium ion. So now this one has a different name, generally which is known as a copper ion. So now copper forms two types of the cations, copper plus and next one copper plus 2. So now here we have copper plus 2. So when a single element forms two types of the cations, then names are depends upon the lower charge and higher charge. Here copper has lower charge, its name should be end with us. So this is cuprous and which is cupric. Cuprous is a monovalent cation and cupric is a bivalent cation. And next one, this is silver. Silver, guys, you can take silver plus 2 also. Silver element forms two types of the cations, silver plus and silver plus 2. Here silver has plus charge and here plus 2 charge. So here lower charge, here higher charge is present. So its name is argentus. Its name is argentic. Argentus. I will write here. Argentus. Argentic. Argentum is the Latin name for the silver. So here silver plus is known as argentus and silver plus 2 is known as argentic ion. Next, bivalent cation. Bi means 2 guys. Bi means 2. So the cations with plus 2 charge are known as bivalent cation. These are examples of the bivalent cation. Barium ion, magnesium ion, calcium ion, strontium ion, barium ion. So now guys, here you see iron plus 2 is there. Iron plus 2, iron forms two types of the cations. Iron plus 2 and iron plus 3. Iron plus 2 with lower charge, iron plus 3 with higher charge. So iron plus 2 is known as ferrous, iron plus 3 is known as ferric. In morning class I have given you names, I have given names for the elements which forms multiple cations. And this is Sn plus 2 is known as tin ion and Sn forms plus 4 cation. Sn, tin can forms plus 2 cation and plus 4 cation. Here Sn with lower charge. So this is stannous, which is stannic. And next one guys, Pb plus 2. So lead also forms two types of the cations, plus 2 cation and plus 4 cation. Plus 4 cation. This is flumbus, which is flumbic. Flumbus and flumbic. And next one, this one completed already. Argentic. Argentus, argentic. And trivalent cations. Cations with plus 3 charge or 3 units of negative, 3 units of positive charge are known as trivalent cation. So boron ion, aluminum ion, gallium ion, indium ion and thallium ion. This one completed already. And tetravalent cation means cation with plus 4 charge are known as tetravalent cation. These are examples. And next, anions also classified into several types. Here I have given 3 only guys. Monovalent anion. Anion with single negative charge is known as monovalent anion. Anion with 2 units of the negative charge is known as bivalent anion. Anion with 3 units of negative charge is known as trivalent anion. If anion carries 4 units of negative charge, that should be tetravalent anion. Tetravalent anion. So now these are all examples of the monovalent anion. Hydrogen forms two types of the ions. It can form cation H plus and this one can form anion H minus. So now in morning class I told you guys, when an atom carrying, when atom carries negative charge, its name should be end with IDE. Name should be end with IDE when atom carries negative charge. It may be unit negative charge or 2 units negative charge or 3 units negative charge. So you see this is an atom carrying negative charge, an atom carrying negative charge. These are our atoms carrying negative charge. And here also O minus 2, S minus 2, N minus 3, P minus 3. These all are atoms, guys, with some particular charge. It may be unit charge, it may be 2 units charge, it may be 3 units charge. Irrespective of the magnitude of the charge, when atom carries negative charge, their names should be end with IDE. Hydride, fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodide, oxide, sulfide, nitride, phosphide. Right, guys? And some elements can form variable ions by combining with the different number of oxygens. Example, you can see nitrogen here forms NO2 minus ion by combining with 2 oxygens, and nitrogen forms NO3 minus by combining with 3 types of the oxygen. So now these two are similar, guys, but the difference is only one oxygen. So this type of anion, for this type of anions, we can give the names like this. Here nitrogen gives 2 types of the anions, NO2 minus and NO3 minus. NO2 minus and NO3 minus. So nitrogen gives here 2 types of the anions, that is NO2 minus and NO3 minus. Here you have less number of oxygens, here you have more number of oxygens. So whenever you have less number of oxygens, its name should be end with IDE. So its name is nitrite. Nitrite, ITE. So wherever you have more number of oxygens, here name should be end with ATE. So this is nitrate, ATE, nitrate. Okay, guys. Next, what about SO3 minus 2, SO4 minus 2? Here you have less number of oxygens, more number of oxygens, which is sulfide, and this one is sulfate. Sulfide, sulfate. And what about these two, guys? Here you have less number of oxygens, here you have more number of oxygens. Here central atom is phosphorus. This is phosphide, and which is phosphate. Phosphide and phosphide. This is phosphide, which is phosphate. This is about the classification of ions. So right, guys, the next one is crisscross method. So here we have certain rules. By following certain rules and by using the symbols of the cations and anions, we can write the formulas of the inorganic compounds. We can write the formulas of inorganic compounds. So now I will explain one example, guys. Let me consider sodium bicarbonate. Sodium bicarbonate. So now how to write the formula of sodium bicarbonate? So the first one, guys, you should write the sodium and bicarbonate symbols along with their charge. Sodium is Na plus, bicarbonate is HCO3 minus. So in first step, you should write them without charge. You should write Na and HCO3. In second step, guys, you should write their valencies. Valency means very simple. The number of positive charges over the sodium will be its valency. Number of negative charges over the HCO3 will be its valency. Here number of positive charges are 1, number of negative charges are 1. So sodium valency is 1, HCO3 valency also 1. And third step, guys, you need to divide these valencies with their highest common factor. You write 1 here and you write this one here. You write the factors 1 into 1. Factors here also 1 into 1. So for 2 ones here, the common factor 1 only. So you should divide them with 1 by 1, and this one also 1 by 1. 1 by 1 means 1, 1 by 1 means 1. And in fourth step, guys, these simplified valencies you should write by exchanging in the suffix of sodium and next one HCO3. Suffix means, guys, for example, this is a symbol. These positions are known as suffix and these positions are known as prefix. This is the right suffix, right prefix. Left prefix, this is left prefix, right prefix. Left suffix, right suffix. So we should write the simplified valencies in the right suffix of the symbols. So now here Na, and you should write this one in the suffix of the sodium. And next one HCO3. You should write this one in the suffix of the HCO3. And in fifth step, guys, whenever you have 1 in the suffix of the given symbol, so you no need to write. So you simply you can ignore that. Then it will be NaHCO3. So NaHCO3 is the formula for sodium bicarbonate.